thanks for watching this video today. So in this YouTube video, I'm going to talk to you about Marmalead versus eRank, the battle of the SEOs. And if you are an Etsy seller, then I'm sure you have heard of those. If you haven't, then this is the perfect channel. This is the perfect video for you to watch today. I am Jocelyn, and I am the owner of A Southern Girl's Needs, and this YouTube channel, these YouTube videos that I make are about helping sellers on different platforms in order to increase sales, to better understand shop performance, and just to be better at running their business. So let's go ahead and get started with the video today. So one of the reasons why you're probably watching this video is that you've heard of this thing called SEO. Search engine optimization, and some people know what they are, and some people say, I still don't quite understand what it actually means. And I have found that when I watch videos, I already knew about SEO, and oftentimes when people talk about them, they give very just general information, a textbook definition of it. I'm going to actually show you how it looks and why it's important in the consumer behavior. And I'm not going to go much more into all of that, just so you can understand why certain keywords are, when people say to niche down and do long tail keywords and those things of that nature. So you'll see what it looks like on a consumer side. Then I'm going to compare the two. I'm going to show you that I used both of them to compare the listings that I have on Etsy. I have about 78 listings on Etsy. I'm going to share with you those differences, what they are, and give you a clear picture of which one I prefer. And then I'm going to talk about whether or not they actually work. So let's get started. So first of all, search engine optimization, SEO. This is the basic way I could say it is how people find your listing. And the more things that you have to describe your listing, the better. And SEO and Etsy is involved in the title and the tags. And I'm going to show you using a screen share why it's important if you're having a product to have a little bit of both. You want to have some things that are high competition or things that people are looking for, and then you also want some things that are a little bit niche down. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go into Etsy into incognito mode, so it doesn't have any existing data on me and things that I've looked up. Let's assume that you want to buy some new earrings from your mother. It's almost Mother's Day, or maybe it's for your mom a gift, or it's Christmas, etc. And SEO, search engine optimization, and you'll hear it, but it's kind of hard to, well, not hard to, most people just kind of give you a general basic understanding of what it is. But SEO works like this. When people are searching, there are typically two types. There's the general searching, where I just want to look for something, and then there's people that really know exactly what they want. Let's say, for example, your mom, you want to buy for your mother some blue earrings. We'll start there. You say it's her favorite color. She loves wearing nice, cute earrings. I'm going to go on Etsy and I'm going to search for blue earrings. So I'm going to do blue earrings. And you'll see that there is a lot of information, a lot of searches for blue earrings. And as you can see, they all kind of vary. There's studs, there's light blue, there's really light blue, there's hoop. There are all kinds of different sorts of earrings that are available. And this is the contemplation. Well, I want earrings, but I don't know which ones I want. And what happens sometimes is people do one of two things. They'll start scrolling through and they'll start looking at them and seeing which ones do they like. Or they'll make a decision and say, you know what, she really likes dark blue earrings and she really likes them to be hoop earrings. So the first part is you want to be here somewhere where they showcase, hey, here's blue earrings for you. So one of the SEO keywords might be blue earrings. Now the problem comes is that you're in a sea of all different types of blue earrings. Let's see how many searches. Does it tell us? 850,000 results for blue earrings. So you're going to be swimming in a sea of blue earrings. The second step that consumers do is the next step is they'll start looking at stuff and they'll say, wow, you know what? These are cute. These sapphire earrings, that's nice. And they'll click on this one. And they're like, yeah, that looks pretty nice. And you see this. We have sapphire earrings hoop, unmatched earrings beaded, unmatched. I'm not sure what unmatched means. Gold blue aesthetic earrings, ethnic, I'm going to butcher this word, Byzantine earrings. Okay, then you start seeing some details, handmade, this is the materials. And then they have a description and etc. But they do have, oh, they even have a, hey, if you want these earrings, there's a matching bracelet. This, and it actually ships from Russia. Okay, so these are cute earrings. And maybe you're like, well, okay, it's a little bit further down than what I'd like. It's going to be a little bit longer. Or maybe certain things are like, well, I really think sapphire and silver would be better. But I do like the hoop earrings. And as you scroll down, and as you're looking as an Etsy seller, scroll down to the bottom, and this is where they'll have the keywords. And they actually really don't have any keywords on here, right? So if perhaps, how many sales does this person have? They have 62 sales, which is pretty good. Only one available. It ships free to the US, but it's going to take some time. And then you scroll down and it has more things from your shop. And then it also shows you, hey, you know what? Here are some other sort of earrings that you might like. You're like, well, you know, I really like those bigger kind of hoop earrings with the little matching sort of stuff. Here are some similar items. You're like, no, this isn't really it. And then they also show you other searches. Navy blue earrings. Oh, you know what? I do like the sapphire. So maybe, and I do like the hoops. So this consumer then goes, blue earrings, sapphire, earrings, silver hoop. Then we get some other weird things because you're like, wait a minute, those aren't hoop earrings. But I wonder if they have hoop in there. They probably got pulled because they were blue sapphire. They got pulled because, yes, they got pulled because they're blue sapphire earrings. But I wanted hoop earrings, right? So I'm getting a little frustrated. As a consumer, I wanted hoop earrings. Well, that's all right. But then I start seeing some hoop earrings. And, you know, I start saying, okay, oh, look at that. Mom would like something vintage. And then you can look on the side and let's see what kind of filters they have. Whether it's handmade or vintage. And that's really all the filters that they have on this particular thing. And so I said, well, she'd really like some vintage. I think that's really what she'd like. And then we see vintage sterling silver earrings. And this is what, and I was like, oh, look at this one. This is silver and rose gold. These are silver. And this is what they mean when you hear people say, what is niching down, going down? If I go to blue earrings, I'm lost in a sea of 800, almost 750,000 results. If I now go to blue sapphire earring hoops, and I now add in that filter of vintage, I'm at 112. It's much easier to rank for these keywords that are blue sapphire earring silver hoop than it is for just blue earrings. And let's see, which one did I like? I like this one. So I'm going to choose this one. And let's see what they have. Vintage from the 1990s. These are really cute. Ships from the US. Okay, 58,000. These are gorgeous, right? These are really nice. She has keywords in there, vintage in the title, vintage. I was looking, she has sterling silver, but it just said silver. And it's okay that she had gold on there. I had sapphire, and I wanted earrings. So these are the keywords that I was looking for that she has on there. And she doesn't even really have much more in the description, because the description doesn't count very much on the SEO. But let's look at the bottom. She has blue sapphire ears. And she doesn't even have any of the other stuff. Jewelry, cubic zirconia, CZ, diamond earrings. So it's okay. And this is what I see a lot of, where people are hitting this one and they're ranking really well just on the title. That their tags don't even have the stuff that I didn't have any of these things. It doesn't have vintage. It doesn't have earrings. It doesn't have sapphire. Oh, it has blue sapphire, but it has ears. So it's a little bit of a misspelling on there. So this is how you get to higher rankings and niching down when you are an Etsy seller. Going from almost 1 million listings for blue earrings to down to vintage 112 results. Now, the issue is that, of course, the more you niche down, the more you're going to only have certain people that buy your items. And, but that's okay, right? So is it better to be in 1 million listings or almost 1 million, or better to be in 112? I think it'd be better to be in 112, and people are doing just fine in 112 listings. Let's assume that you have a similar type of earrings that this one has, and you want to start using their keywords. You can use some of the stuff from the title, vintage sterling silver. Maybe you don't have rose gold. Maybe they're blue sapphire earrings. Another thing you can do is go to the bottom and then look for their keywords. You might want to put bridesmaid gifts, jewelry, blue sapphire earrings, CZ diamond earrings. Other things that you could see is other keywords. Rose gold, if you have it. Wedding engagement. Hot wife jewelry. Okay, fantastic earrings. Another thing you can do is, I often like to look at the bestseller and see what sort of things that they're having. Blue dangle earrings. So that might be a keyword to have. Blue sapphire. September birthstone. Gold dangly. Gift for mom, wife, mom, friend, gift. And you scroll down and we'll see what kind of other keywords. Dangly and drop earrings and things of that nature. So this is what we mean by SEO. You want to try to get here. So there's nothing wrong with getting up here and you're going to be in a big competition of blue earrings. But you also want to get into the more specific of the ones that you actually represent. So people who are looking for your particular type of earrings can easily find your items. So a mix of this and a mix of things that are a little bit more niche down. And that is the Etsy SEO. I have been using eRank for a while after I heard about it. I've been an Etsy seller, I think since about 2019, but I didn't really get started until 2020. I threw a couple things up and was like, okay, whatever. And then when I started to get a little more serious about the e-commerce side, I started to really get into it and saw it. And just like a lot of people, I'm going to tell you, if you're just slow at getting sales, it is tough to get started. I would say that Etsy was probably the hardest to get started with sales, harder than Amazon. And Amazon's a beast when you're talking about ads and listings and things of that nature, but Etsy is even harder than I would say Amazon. And I see a lot of people that get really frustrated because the expectation and I can understand, believe me, I can understand that you're going to put a listing up. You do the best that you can. You have a wonderful product. I know you do. And it doesn't make any sales. What I see a lot of times is people are like, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't made a sale. I was like, you know what? It took about 3 months for me to just get my first sale. And it was a digital product that was $1. So things are a lot harder than what you might think that they are. And that's hard for people to swallow, that it's going to take a little bit more time, because I know there's tons of videos out there that'll tell you that, hey, you know, I started on Etsy in a month I made 700, I think I saw some like $700,000 or 70,000. 700 is kind of crazy number, 70,000 or 7,000. And I know right now the economy is bad, people don't have jobs, people have a lot of things, that are staying at home, and they need the money, and they have great products, and I know it's difficult and hard. So the first thing I want to mention is that if you're struggling with sales, you're not uncommon. It's common for you to be suffering for sales. So don't feel bad, okay? Don't feel bad. It's okay. Now, I've been using eRank for a while, and I decided to try Marmalead because I'd heard, you know, anything that you can do to improve your sales is always good. You should always be trying to think about how to improve your sales. And the reason why I was trying Marmalead is because there's just a flow. All these e-commerce sites are just, they can be quite frustrating. Etsy was doing really well. December, January, November, I was doing pretty well, and it was outpacing eBay. And then so I said, well, I need to work on my eBay side. So I started to work on eBay, doing more things, working on titles, descriptions, pictures, all this sorts of things, sharing listings, etc. And then what happened, my Etsy store started to tank in sales. And I have been running ads, and I wanted to see if I could lower the ad rate, because that's what I had done. I was up to maybe $10 a day, and I was doing pretty good, but they were taking a big chunk of the money. And because I don't have a lot of items, I don't have like $150 items, I think about $15 is about the average price of my items. What do I sell? I don't sell a lot of handmade stuff. I'd sell a few handmade things, but most of the stuff is things that a lot of crafting items, paint, things that you use. So I'm like the supply side of things, not so much the crafting side of things. But I do have some things that I've made myself, so it's perfectly fine. Whichever one you do, I think it's going to be relevant. So if you're like, well, I only craft things, so this isn't going to work for me, or I am only a supplier, I do both. So it's relevant for anybody who does both of these. What was I saying? He's so funny. So things were going, and sales weren't going so well. So I said, well, let me see. I'm going to try. I've been doing eRank. Let me try this Marmalead. And I knew it was a paid program, and there's a discount. I don't have one because I don't have I'm using the free account, the free 14-day trial. But you could probably Google it, and you can probably find people who have I think even contact Marmalead, and they'll give you a 14-day free trial sort of thing. So it's not anything that's going to be cost prohibitive to you. And so I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm going to analyze every last one of my listings and change them. And that happened it's still happening. I started on a Saturday afternoon about 2. And I was hoping to be done by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I finished, it took about 3 days. On and off, sleeping, doing other things as well. But a good amount, about 24 hours to do all of the listings. But that also included I think I added in about 9 listings earlier this week. And so what I should have done was evaluated, got the scores from eRank, changed them on Marmalead, and then looked at the scores, and I said, oh gosh, I didn't do that. So what I ended up doing was looking at the scores on Marmalead, changing all the scores, and then I looked back at eRank, and then I looked at those scores, and then I changed the eRank scores to try to get them higher. And then after that, then I went back and evaluated the Marmalead scores. So you'll see what that looks like. It's like, do the scores match? Are they different? And you'll be able to see what that looks like. But the first thing I want to do is show you, to talk to you next. The next thing I want to talk to you about is about the keyword finding. So you saw the video before about finding keywords when you're using, I used Google incognito mode. Another thing you can do is, this is why I used eRank and Marmalead, was to find keywords particular for that. So I'm going to show you a video screenshot of the comparison between the two and how you can use them to find keywords for your listings. Let's compare keywords when you're using Marmalead versus eRank. Let's go back to the blue earrings. So I search up here and I put in blue earrings. And I hit search, and I'll do the same thing in eRank. Blue earrings. It takes a little bit longer, and so some of the things you see right now, you're like, okay, there's a lot of competition. And we saw that when I was showing you the video about SEO, the screen sharing, is that there is a lot of competition. And there's not that many searches. It's only 115 searches for blue earrings. Then it has this little word cloud for you to look at stuff. And then it has some ideas. We already saw like dangle earrings. We saw drop earrings. So we're seeing some of those keywords that come up. Marmalead has a tendency to really like these long tail keywords, which is that niche stuff, the vintage blue earrings or this blue sapphire earrings. And what I like about it is it shows you the pictures versus, it shows you pictures here. I wonder if it would do the same thing. Louis Smart. And would it show us, so it even shows you a little bit of different ones. And I think it ranks by the photo score, like what kind of photos. So that's something I didn't really evaluate very much into my listings. Interesting. So I need to go back and do that. What the difference is when I'm looking at the keywords, if I'm looking for let's look at eRank. I like that already it has them up here. So here's the ranking. And you can start looking and saying, okay, blue earrings, maybe resin flower, maybe you don't have those sorts of things. The hardest thing that I found about doing any of these things was kind of coming up with keywords that were, if you look at Marmalead and you also look at this, it's like which ones have their long tail, but don't have a lot of competition. And Marmalead, you can click on the Etsy competition and it'll show you like navy blue earrings. So it'll show you, okay, but it does have like, okay, not so much Pinterest searches. Not going to worry about the Google thing right now. But maybe navy blue earrings. Okay, so navy blue, sapphire. If it was dark blue, that might be something you want to have in there. But I didn't like how this one, you don't have, it does have some other things, something blue for bride. I'm not even sure if that's going to fit in all the keywords, the text things. And it does have some different sorts of alternatives for you. Be careful about using Tiffany blue. I think that's copyrighted. But it has the word cloud also. In order for me to see what keywords these ones are looking at, and I do like to look at the ones that have the picture, because if we're looking at, remember like the sapphire ones, it was like, okay, this one sort of looks like mine. And you click on it, and then you'd have to go and look at the listing and go to the bottom and then go find these keywords versus an eRank. They're already provided for you in the listing for the ranking. So when you're looking for keywords to use different types, I actually like eRank better versus Marmalead because of the quicker ability to find the keywords that you might want to use in your listings. So now the battle. Which one wins? I've done both of them, and here is what I find. First, I always look at price. Number one thing that I'm looking for is price. So Marmalead, you do get that 14-day free trial, which is a fully functional 14 days. So that's great. I love that they have it. But after that, it is $19 for a month. You get a discount if you get an annual subscription. So $19. eRank has a free plan that has very limited stuff, but if you're just looking for just keywords, it works fine. And you're going to be looking at the listing audit tool. You can only do a certain number a day, but that's fine because if you got too many of them, you can spend hours and hours on end doing these sorts of things. So if you only got a few that you can audit, that's perfectly fine. But then on that is $5.99, and then the full functioning is $9.99. So on price, eRank is a much better option. The ease of finding those keywords, I actually liked eRank better. When I'm looking at the competitors, it was just so much easier than having to go through and go to each other listings and find those, and that was much easier to use eRank. Now, the one where Marmalead does beat out is the ease of finding the score. So if I wanted to do something really quickly. And when you go to look up your listings, it'll show you the actual score number, the lettering that it has. And it's much easier to say, okay, well, I'm going to look for everyone that has a B, C, etc. And I'm going to pull those, or an F or something. I did have a couple Fs. And pull those listings out and change those. On eRank, you have to actually open up each one and actually go through the listing audit. And that's where it only shows you a certain amount on the free trial, so that actually adds in that you actually use those in your trial. Another thing that eRank does better is the refreshing of the listing. So I'll go and pull a listing up, I'll edit it, I'll change the listing, and I'll go back, and eRank just says refresh it. And it'll refresh it and give me a score. Now, if I'm doing this wrong and I don't know how to do it, let me know in the comments. But in the Marmalead, I actually had to log out, log back in, and get the whole listing redone again. So it wasn't as, it just added in extra steps and extra time that just puts on to you as you're trying to revise your listing. If you already like what you got today so far, let me know in the comments if you've used Marmalead, if you use eRank, which one you like better. If I know that some people like other ones better than others. Are there some certain features? And this isn't just all the features. There are some other great things that both of the sites have, but I'm just focusing on the keywords, the SEO and the keywords. And if you do like this video, please like and subscribe, put on the notification so you can get notified when I create a new video. The next part is, so if you haven't figured it out yet, I like eRank a lot better. Anything that's free is going to be the better one for me that I like. But I can see why people would like Marmalead. It's got some other things on it as well. But I think for this particular item, especially if you're starting out and you're just sort of dabbling in Etsy, I think it's going to be just enough for you to go ahead and try to get started. And it gives you a lot of information. Some other things that eRank does better than Marmalead. One was spelling errors. Marmalead never picked up one of my spelling errors. Note that some brands are going to have spelling errors no matter what you do, just because they're just off name. Like I have just some brand names will just automatically have a spelling error that's on there that eRank will pick up, but it's not a spelling error. It also picked up duplicate keywords, which I can understand if you're trying to add as many keywords as you can. If the keywords are very close together, then there's no sense of having both of them. So if you have sapphire earrings and you have blue sapphire earrings, and I'm not sure if that might be too long, but it kind of gives you an idea what I'm talking about. eRank will say, hey, you know what? Sapphire sapphire earrings is already in blue sapphire earrings, you might want to take that off and add in another keyword that you can have, because according to eRank, that the Etsy SEO will pick that up as sapphire earrings and blue sapphire earrings. The other thing that I didn't like about Marmalead, it was, it was very much focused. It was like, if you didn't have the right keyword, it's like you don't have the keyword. And there was just some little other things about it that it just took a really long time to get any improvement on the scores. And sometimes I'd make a change and the score would go down, and that was really frustrating. The other thing that eRank does is that it will tell you if you already have a listing that's it's already in the category. So if I had earrings, it would say, hey, you know what, it's already going to be popped up under earrings, so you might want to choose another keyword because you only got 13 of them. So what else could you put on there? Hyperallergenic, vintage, that sort of thing. The rank score for the eRank was always higher. Marmalead never beat out eRank. Now you say, well, you know, does that matter? Maybe, maybe not. For people who need that little motivation, sure, you know, I would say use both of them. Use the 14-day trial and use both of them. Hit it hard for 14 days so you can get a little bit better at it and get your listings evaluated. But I can see how it can be very time consuming for people. And I've noticed also that when they're starting out, and I think they're using eRank or Marmalead, I'm not quite sure, they'll have the keywords in the title, and it's like blue sapphire earrings, blue earrings, midnight earrings, gifts for women, gifts for mom. It's like very kind of, they're trying to not spend enough time using the space that they have in the title to describe it, other things that could be important to it. Dangly drop earrings, those sorts of things that also can be put in the title. Because guess what? There are a lot of bestsellers who don't have anything but keywords in the title. They don't even have, I didn't even see, there's some that don't even have any of the tags listed, and they're the bestseller. So if you wanted to focus on anything, I would definitely say that title and having the keywords in the title is going to be important. I think the words are going to be important. Etsy said they're working on the SEO, that the how they're grouped, and if they're in the beginning versus the end. They start saying that they're trying to make sure that doesn't matter, because in Google it really doesn't matter as much in regards to that. The ease of improving score was significantly easier on eRank than Marmalead. What I found was eRank was more interested in, do you have a lot of categories? Do you have a lot of tags? Does the tags not have any spelling errors? Do you have like duplications? And yeah, it didn't, if you had a nice mix, and that goes back to those high competition and then low competition keywords. If it was all low, then it gave me about a lower score. And if it was all high, it gave me a lower score as well. So if you have a nice mix of both the higher competition and then the lower competition ones, it seemed eRank was like that and said, oh cool, that seems to be pretty good. What I didn't like about Marmalead was it was very hard to rank higher, because it wanted three things. It wanted you to have long tail keywords. It wanted your focus keywords to have high engagement, and those keywords to have low competition. And that was almost virtually impossible to do. I had one listing that had an A on it, and after I changed it on eRank, I think it went back down, went lower. So it was much easier to make the improvement, but it could be because I already had used Marmalead and I already had an idea of how to get better at improving those listings. Who knows? So what was it like to make the changes? Again, I have already used eRank before. Then I evaluated each one using Marmalead, and then I went back to eRank. I had a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of areas for improvements. I had some listings, I didn't have any keywords at all in them, and I thought I did. or sometimes I use cross-listing software. So I'm cross-listing from eBay to Etsy, and sometimes I'm tired and I'm like, just put the listing out there. I don't really care about anything else. I'll do the keywords later. And sometimes I realize I didn't go back to them. Some misspellings. I even had a misspelling in the title. Like I misspelled princess on one. I was like, golly. So that was an issue. I definitely need to do better pictures, especially lifestyle, and adding more videos. So those are things that I need to improve on myself. So what did I do? I changed a lot. I changed practically every listing, even if it was something minor, like added in another measurement, add in the attributes, added in materials. I made a change almost practically to every single listing that I had. Some listings that I'm like, probably not, because their supply stuff and they had low ranking scores, or they didn't have a lot of competition because they're just a particular supply that people who like this particular product would buy anyway. So I was like, I have it on Amazon and eBay and Walmart and Etsy and Facebook. So it's everywhere. I didn't feel a strong need to change those sorts of things. I can see how people get frustrated and exhausting. I did want to, I want that score. I want that A. I want that A no matter what I try. And I even would try, make changes. I'd come back, especially not with eRank. eRank always, whenever I made a change, always the score got higher. But with Marmalead, the score would get worse. So, oh my gosh. The other thing that it did was Marmalead didn't recognize seasonal items. So I have Christmas ornaments, vintage Christmas ornaments, and Christmas ornaments sell all year round. But it was like, nobody's searching for Christmas ornaments. So it's a terrible listing. I'm like, well, yes, it's not Christmas right now, but I still sell Christmas ornaments. So it didn't really kind of understand the seasonal part of it. It seems to kind of do it just on searches versus competition and things, searches and stuff. I don't really quite know the algorithms that either one of them use, so I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I know everything, because I don't. But it was definitely exhausting doing those. It took me 2 days to do 73 Marmalead listings, and it's taken me a couple more days to do eRank just because I got the free version, so I can only do a couple of them every single day. But after I used eRank, after I used Marmalead, so what was the results? 51% stayed exactly the same, meaning that I would go on to, I'd already made all the changes in Marmalead. I'd go over to eRank. I'd look at that score, make some changes and make some improvements, and the score all the time the score would go up. Every single time I made a change on eRank, the score would go up. But I would go back to Marmalead to see what the score was, and 51% of the time it would stay exactly the same. So I don't know what that means. Kind of think of it yourself. Is Marmalead enough? Is it the better, or is it the eRank? Maybe I just like to see that number improve. Maybe that's just me. I don't really know. The 13% did improve, so there was some improvement that had happened in the scores. And I just looked for the number of the letters, the B to the A, the C to A. I didn't really, But the 9% actually decreased. The listing value went down. And it typically was like, it went from like a C plus to a C, or a B minus to a B to a B minus. I didn't have any of them that went from an A to an F or anything like that, but they did have 9% did decrease. 15 out of 73 of the scores stayed exactly the same, meaning that, were the same scores. And I didn't look at minuses because eRank doesn't have minus. So if eRank had a B, Marmalead had a B. So only 15 out of 73 had the exact same score, with eRank being probably higher. Now, what else happened afterwards? I got better at listing. I went through and I said, I'm going to list a few new items in my Etsy store, and I was a lot quicker, a lot faster. When I went to evaluate those listings, they were already at B's, B's or C's. See, yeah, I know it sounds so terrible. Like I got to see either they're at C's or B's when I check them on Marmalead, because eRank, you only have a certain number, and I've got that 14-day trial, so I'm trying to get as many listings as I can to get evaluated on Marmalead. And I did get better at listing, faster, knowing how to use keywords, finding keywords was a lot faster. Some keywords had no ranking on Marmaleads, but would show up on searches on Etsy. If I was to find a product that said, oh, that one looks like mine, let me go look at it, Marmalead would say, nobody's searching for that item. And I'm like, really? And then on the side, Etsy has, people are also searching for this. So let's go back to the earrings. If it had, there's nobody searching for blue sapphire earrings. It's okay. And I check a listing, and on the left-hand side of Etsy said, oh, people are also searching for blue sapphire earrings. So there were some little mix-ups that weren't syncing very well. And I'm not sure if it's just the Pinterest that they're using versus the Etsy. I don't really know. Seasonal and vintage is much harder on Marmalead when they're not in season. When they're not in season, vintage is really, well, sometimes you have vintage that is, in particular, like vintage Christmas items. Vintage was harder to do on both of them, actually, but definitely a lot harder on Marmalead than they were on eRank. So the next question is, did it increase sales? That's what we all want to know. I spent days still doing it, and did it actually increase sales? So here are some good things. Okay, so I went back and looked, and I did make the sale. So what happened was I started Marmalead looking at it Saturday. So I turned off the ads, actually started working on it, and then I turned off the ads. And I'm not sure, it might have been Friday or Saturday. I don't really know. But Etsy told me when I looked at the traffic report, it said, hey, you stopped using ads this day. And so I looked and I saw, okay, so I made sales without ads. Good. Awesome. So it does work. So, no matter what people say, they're doing a lot of stuff, it does work. Okay. I did make a sale off of a newer item. I think it was one that I had changed. On eRank, it was an A, and on Marmalead, it was a C. So that shows you that you can make a sale with a Marmalead score of a C, and of course the eRank score was a little bit higher with an A. Here are the bad things. I sold things I was already selling. These were already things that I sold my bestsellers. So take that with a grain of salt. That, yes, I had, but I did have one sale that is a brand new category of item that I'm selling. I don't know anything much about them. It was something that I've been, people say, oh, I'm always trying different things. Is this a good type of item to sell? Is this not? So one item that brand new, don't know much about. It's not something I know a lot about. So I don't know what people are looking for, which is good. Actually, it's a pretty good thing that I don't know what people are looking for this item because I've never used this item. So I used these tools to help me to rank for something that I know absolutely nothing about. So awesome. That's great. So in that sense, it does help. Sales are still slower. I want to finish and do the whole thing and then maybe turn back the ads on next week. So I think a combination of using both ads and the Etsy SEO is good. So what do I need to do next? One, I need to add more listings. I got about 10 more items, and I still am adding in other listings as I add in more stuff. I might actually go from adding listings from Etsy over to eBay and cross-listing on that versus the other way around, because there's just so much more to add with Etsy that I don't know, but it's just easier to do eBay too, because that's just the higher score that I have. Change the photos. I've been working on that as well, changing photos, adding in more photos. I have been trying to do more social media posts. I was looking at the sales traffic or the traffic report, and all of the traffic comes from Pinterest. So I haven't used Pinterest in about a year. So I've been going and trying to add in more things on Pinterest. Now, the other thing that I looked at was the searches. When I started from Saturday, when I turned off the ads, till today, and then I went back and compared it from, I think the earliest it gives us like January 2020 up until the time I turned off the ads. And here's what I found. They both did the same amount with the changes in improving on the SEO. They still had the same amount of percentage in Etsy search. Okay. 0% in ads versus 19% of the traffic came from ads. Okay, so I knew I was looking at the right numbers because there was no ads in there. The best thing about it is that 41% of the traffic to my store came from marketing and SEO versus before I started this experiment, only 18%. So it does work, y'all. I'll admit it does work to increase traffic. Now, what I need to do is work on the conversion. Like I said, working on better listings, adding in probably a little more descriptions, been working on thinking about more lifestyle photos for certain things that I have, and using more social media posts. If this sounds like you and you're sort of stuck and you're waiting it out like some of us have to do, there's a lot of sellers that you just have to wait it out for you to get the sales. So what else can you do? You can cross post. Everything that I have on Etsy is cross post somewhere else. I have found that I cross post some things I'll sell on eBay. So I cross post on the stuff I have on Etsy. I've sold on eBay, Mercari, Facebook, Walmart, Amazon, and eBay, and my own website. So if you are stuck, don't keep beating this Etsy dead horse to death. There is another place for you to go. Other people want your beautiful items, your handcrafted items, your vintage items, your supplies. Other people want them. You just got to go and get other people to go look at them. So if you're not cross-posting on other things, then you are really missing out. Where do you go? eBay is probably going to be your best bet in regards to traffic and the ease of doing stuff. You can get a free eBay account. There's no listing. You can list a certain number of items every month for eBay. You don't even need to pay for eBay listings unless you go over a certain amount. So first one is eBay. Same thing with Facebook Marketplace. Same thing with Mercari. So those things are different. Walmart's a little bit different because you're going to need a UPC code. And some of my items do have UPC codes because, like I said, I sell a lot of supplies. So they already have a UPC code. And Walmart's a little bit different. You have to apply for an account and you have to have some other things along with it. But that's something if those that have a Walmart selling account are interested in doing, that might be something to look at. And then Amazon they have the handmade marketplace, something like that. And then any item that has a UPC code. Now you can go get brand registered, and you can also start doing your own brand and get a UPC code. And I don't even think you can do UPC code exemptions and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have all that information on that. But if you are, and then of course you can do your own website, whether that's WooCommerce or Shopify. Start doing, get a Facebook business page, Instagram thing, TikToking. Is that a word? TikToking? I don't know. Anyways, so that's it. That's all I have for today. Hopefully you, again, if you like this content, and I am interested, if you have some comments about what you feel, are you struggling with Etsy? Am I dead wrong? Or you say, hey, SEO is dead, girl. No, nobody uses that. I believe it works. I don't think it's as fast as people want it to be. I want it to be fast. I thought Saturday when I was doing all this work, I thought Sunday I was going to wake up to 5,000 orders. It didn't happen. It took a couple of days, but I did make some sales, and I've been making consistent sales every day since then. So that's good. So hopefully you learned something. Good luck on your adventures, and subscribe and like my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.